Thank you guys for coming. Anyway, my name is Hernan Valencia, and I have this company called The Construct Creative. And a little bit about the name. It's everybody knows what to construct means to build something, but the noun itself is actually an idea that I sort of came up with, which is my philosophy when it comes to being creative, and that is there are so many things out there in the world that we all love to create. As being creative people, that we want to sort of learn how to do. And I always felt like during college that there's so many other cool things that I want to do besides design, and I want to do illustration, I want to do posts, I want to create websites, I want to do all this stuff. And it was like, no, you gotta take another course for that, or you gotta go to school for a different major for that. And I was kind of like bummed out. But I think that because of technology today and how awesome the internet is and how you can create so many things with your tools that you have now. I mean, the computers are so powerful nowadays, and like to make things that in the past years ago you couldn't do. You had to go to a specific trade school, or you had to buy really expensive equipment, or you really couldn't get the experience that you can get now. And that is like we are so fortunate to be living in this age, and you can do so much. So that's kind of where the idea came from, because I didn't want to say I'm one thing. I'm a composition of many things. So I guess you can say I'm a designer straighterist, for lack of a better word. It's a combination of being a designer and illustrator, and I guess a little bit of an artist, like all of us do. You can toss in photographer in there too, but I didn't want to make it too long and hard to pronounce. The image here belongs to Stuart Davis, a painter from the Ashcan School in New York. And you can argue, looking at this, that this could be, it's an illustration. No, it's a design. It's like, no, it's really a painting, and it's an expression of art. It could be any of those things. That's what's beautiful about his work. And that's sort of where I come from, my philosophy of doing my kind of creative work. So, moving on. Oh, skip one. There we go. It is so awesome for me to be able to just learn so many new things by using the amount of information we have available to us today. And that not only includes step-by-step guides, but also ideation process, be able to talk to people through the variety of social media I have and get information normally we couldn't get, access people's process before we couldn't. And it's almost like we have to be always moving with our creativity and always trying to move forward and learn new things from different aspects of this world that we're chosen to be a part of. And not just speaking about creative people, also I think anybody can really benefit from just trying to touch up on different things and learn, search for knowledge. And also, when it comes to designing, it's more of an action. It's not passive. You don't sit in front of your computer and you design. You don't design in a vacuum, or you don't create things in a vacuum. You want to be out there and trying to be as forward-moving, always in motion, trying to do something, connect with people, travel, things like that. And when you do that, sometimes you find maybe this is not what you wanted to do. And that's a good thing. Sometimes you'll learn that as you kind of dig your fingers in different aspects of a broader field, you understand and you comprehend that maybe this is not something that I want to do after all. Maybe this is the thing that I'd like to do. Maybe it's photography. Maybe it's more web development, user experience. Maybe I want to connect with people that way. Maybe I'm better at it than I was a painter or anything else. It's a beautiful thing. And as you do that, you also become more aligned and in tune to the people you're going to communicate with, because we're all in business of communicating with people in many different ways, in many different facets. And the more you experience those other aspects of life and creativity, you become a better communicator. And so internet's awesome. And we live in an awesome time, guys. Today what we're going to talk about is my illustration work. And I didn't want to make it so long. They talk about everything I've done, but this is one aspect of the construct that is me. A while back, I met the editor of Desert Companion, and we talked a little bit, and he wanted me to do a illustration for him. So this is sort of a case study that I did for them. The article is called Losing My Religion, and it's basically an ongoing feature where they put a writer in a situation that is normally uncomfortable for them. In this case, it was an atheist, or a humanist, whatever you want to call it, going to a religious convention here in town. I was fortunate enough to actually get the article, which you don't really get to do too much if you're an illustrator. You don't get the article first. A lot of times it's just sort of like a synopsis because they're still writing it, especially when you do like a weekly publication and they need it fast. Luckily, Desert Companion is monthly, so they have a lot of things sort of in their backlog already written. So what he talked about is make sure that I don't make it, even though I felt the story was sort of put in a not a favorable light, because the guy was kind of like talking smack about the whole convention and people being so filled with fervor about their religion. He was kind of being a little bit, I guess you could say detrimental, and I sort of put myself in that space, but he wanted to be in a more favorable light. So, very good. It didn't even sound good. I just go like this. All right. So here's the sketches I came up with, and he was specific about taking a literal scene and that experience the writer wrote about. So my first thing was he was sort of bored at sort of preaching about doomsday or whatever it was, and the second one was more like everybody was super nice to the writer. You know, they were like offering him pens and super, being like really like almost like strangely nice, and he was like, I don't want to be here. So I had these sort of sketches, and I tried to work out as much as the color and as much as the compositions I can to give him a solid idea. He was really very impressed because he usually, according to him, gets only like stick drawings a lot of times. So I put it together in a PDF for him. Yeah, I love it. So the second revision was, I don't know if I'm feeling that. I want him to be a little bit more, not so much detached, but more like sort of like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't realize people were like this, and so I had the guy, as he was a writer, writing down what he was watching, and there was a lot of sort of spectacle and a lot of sort of energy flowing from the speaker, so I kind of tried to capture that. And so this is a picture of me. I work in a more traditional illustration way because I sort of learned that way. You can do it many different ways, and pardon the cluttering back there, but I have either I set up the camera to take a picture of myself when I'm looking in the mirror, or I have people help me with that, or I take pictures of other people. It's usually what happens, but this time it was sort of such short notice to get this out that I had to have my wife take a picture of what I wanted to include. And I also used a program called Poser, and I'm sure you've all probably heard of it or will now, to kind of help me out with some of the more specific or troublesome ways to carry out certain angles that I couldn't convey to my wife, because I was trying to tell her, okay, I want it to look like this, and I look at the pictures and they're all wrong. Like, no, you guys. So I tweaked it and did that, and that was a consideration. And this is what the final came out to be, and there's what it looked like. So it was a really fun process, and it's really quick, and I think conveyed nicely what he was trying to do, which is just a scene from that, and printed nicely too. All right, so the next one, this is more of a self-promotion piece, and I think that if you're waiting for clients, or if you don't have any clients, or if you're bored at work, or if whatever is happening, try to engage yourself in something for yourself. It doesn't have to be meaningful, it doesn't have to have any weight, it could just be you doing the thing you want to do. Because a lot of times, if some of you guys work with clients or will work with clients, we don't get as much chase as we'd like to. We have this perfect idea of what the concept is going to be, and like, oh yeah, it's going to be great, and it's going to, it's going to talk about the human suffering, like the collective unconscious of life and all this stuff, and and they're not going to get it because it doesn't matter to them. They just want to get it out the door. So deadlines, of course. So Dion Reverb, which is a indie music collective here in town, they do a great job of getting some really nice indie acts. I've been to a couple of concerts. David, you've been to a couple of them yourself. It's okay, you can go to the next one. So the thing was, create something for music, something related to music. So people were doing like, a picture of Tom York from Radiohead, and people were doing like, the White Stripes or a guitar. And I was thinking, well, I want to do something a little bit more meaningful. And this is the Huntbridge, and have anybody ever heard of the Huntbridge? Okay, some of you folks have. Okay, so other people that have not been here, I don't know what the heck that is, and it looks weird. But it has a lot of history. Now, I wasn't around when this was open. This is really a club, guys. It's actually a theater that held a lot of concert venues for a lot of Las Vegans when there was no big casinos holding these acts. A lot of times during that time, casinos would hold sort of like lounge acts and sort of older people, but young people wanted to hear new music, and this is really the only venue they had to go to. So a lot of memories were created in a sort of consciousness of people in their 30s and 40s now. They lived through the age when this was open. It was such a meaningful, sentimental thing, because now, due to many reasons, which I will not go into, it has fallen to decay. It's closed down, and it's just sitting there baking in the desert every summer, and nobody's doing anything about it. So it's kind of sad. More so for them, because they actually have visions and memories from that place. So I came from that place. So I was thinking about sketches about like what it felt like to see this sort of thing kind of die in their eyes. So kind of a sadness, sort of, I feel sad, and I wanted to revert back to young people or younger people. Maybe they could see themselves in that. So to be sort of non-specific too much, sort of make it look youngish, and I used Poser again to help me out. These are the actual sketches by hand, and next. And this is the building. There were so many different ways that I took this shot of it, and which I couldn't find for this presentation, unfortunately. But it's something like that. I was trying to design it using a composition to draw your eye to the circle and the moon, and then connect to the other circle and the Huntbridge, and work your way down. And this is the final. I wanted to specifically have your eye go to that moon first, and then see the Huntbridge, and then sort of go down and see how the people are sort of forgotten, and they're just sort of reminiscing. And it's really poignant, and maybe it doesn't mean as much to some people, but for some people, the people that I wanted to do this for were like, so, oh my God, you have to send me this, and this is so awesome. I'll pay you. This is a great homage to sort of the decay of the Huntbridge, I guess you could say. So, who said we've been to the Huntbridge before? Okay, well, you guys get these awesome postcards. Cool. Sorry, guys. So that's yeah. It was it really touched me, the fact that even though I wasn't a part of this, I understood it because of experiences that I've had with similar situations, or traveling, or that kept me in touch with that feeling, and I was able to bring it out to them, and they were really grateful. Most people were really grateful for that. So that's you can find me there to be nice and brief, and I just want to thank you guys for listening. I hope I inspire you on something, and just be out there and experiment and try out things. You might find you like it. All right.